My husband, M25, wants to divorce me, F24, because I'm lazy. My husband, May, and I, 4, have been together for 8 years, married for 3 years. He has been distant for 5 months now. Rarely speaking to me, or when I speak to him, he's always on his phone ignoring what I'm saying. Very little communication. He's been sleeping in the guest room and we haven't had any sexual activity since then. Recently we had the talk. He says he rates that I don't work much, I don't pull my weight around the house, and I don't cook for him. He pays everything except for wife and the phone bill, which I pay for. I work Monday to Friday AM/PM and my husband works PM/PM. I come home to our 7-year-old son hungry because all he was fed was cereal at AM. After making him a quick lunch and settle in, I usually clean up the kitchen that is always a mess from the morning. Once I'm done, I either go on a walk with my son or at the park. When we get home, I start my lesson plan since I homeschool. While he works on his worksheets, I start dinner. After dinner we hang out, watch movies, play, then it's time for shower and bedtime. When he's all settled in, I clean up the kitchen, spot clean around the house, and throw away the trash. Apparently, I have to meal representative my husband's food because he doesn't eat unless I make him food. I need to deep clean the whole house every day. I don't know what he does during the day, but every time I see him when he's not working, he's playing video games. It's not fair that he gets to do everything he wants, but I get yelled at for no reason. I get so stressed and overwhelmed with homeschooling, but I do it because our son is autistic. When I tell him how much work it is, I always get told, "It's your job." I've always had issues. My main issue is that he's not romantic or love with me anymore. I haven't had one gift from him since the in-year to anniversary, birthday or Valentine's Day gift. He wants me to change, but I can't. I'm trying my best, and this is all I can push myself to do. It just hurts because I still love him so much and I feel like he rates me.
Stop cooking and doing stuff for him. Deep your baby responsibilities up to keep it safe, but otherwise stop helping around the place. He needs to realize what you contribute. If he can't change after seeing that, he's definitely not worth remaining in a relationship with.
There are points in our life when we have to make decisions that are painful but right for us. Your husband sounds like a lazy person who has checked out. You are both very young, so to have a 7-year-old with extra needs at your age is going to put a lot of strain not just on your relationship but also on your individual lives. A few small pieces of advice. 1. Mind a special needs school for your son. Someone who is trained to educate him is going to do a better job than you. That's not an insult to you. You had him when you were 17, still a child yourself. You didn't get the time to train to teach. Met someone who has focus on him during the day. 2. Talk about this with your husband. Explain what your day looks like and that you are exhausted. If he still wants to leave, then that's fine, but at least he's making an informed decision. 3. Agree a custody arrangement before he leaves. I suggest 50-50 since you both work and that's what would benefit your child most. His will also allow you to advance your own career. Don't stay with someone just because you love them. Love isn't enough to keep a relationship strong and healthy. Relationships take hard work and effort from both sides to be successful. You're very young. Take a step back and think about what you want from your life. Not what he wants and not what your child wants. That do you want?
He doesn't think you're lazy. He just wants a reason to leave you. I say divorce him because it seems he does nothing and you do everything.
You work 5 days a week, come home, feed your son. When you homeschool your son while trying to clean up the kitchen and cook a family meal. Meanwhile, your husband is home till PM. He did not make your son lunch, he did not tend to the kitchen, and he won't eat unless you cook the food. He plays video games instead. There is one person lazy here and it isn't you. He wants you to change, into what? A rude on speed and steroids? Meanwhile, he does not feel the need to change. Let him go get that divorce and think of it this way, it's one less mouth to cook for, and chose wise, it will be exactly the same as it was before the divorce.
Easy done. Well, him to find a good school where they can meet your kids' necessities and to get a second job because you'll be quoting yours to fully become a trophy wife who has the house tidy 24/7 and meal press, but also you'll need a maid and a Nancy. 2. But in all seriousness, looks like he's more a burden into your life than a partner. Loose that useless potato. It'll hurt like hell, yes, but in the long run you'll be better and it'll get easier. You're still young and have a life ahead of you. Don't waste it with someone like him.
Don't you mean? He wants me to change but I won't, as the person who needs to change in this relationship is him, not me. And I still love him so much and I feel like I need to find a lawyer of leavd his sorry ass. Do you love him or the way he used to be? Because he sounds like a sorry excuse for a husband and a joke of a man.
Your husband has moved out of the Marshall bed. Think about it, realistically and symbolically. I think he has something or someone going on to lose interest in you and also blaming you and shaking you. Well, him you don't give two boots about homework. If his nose is out of joint, he can do it or hire a cleaner. In the meantime, get yourself ready. Pretty sure the cause is other woman.
To you have been degraded to a housemaid. And he fully ignores all the work you do. With the schedule you sketched, he should be the one preparing the lunch and clean the kitchen from the morning. Maybe he has met someone attractive with Okis and images himself been with that person. He needs to pull his shit together and work around the family.
Wounds like he doesn't want a partner but wants a fuck maid.
Explain to me why you love him. Please. Because I've read and reread what you posted and I cannot see one reason in any of it that would explain why you love a person who treats you like absolute garage. He speaks to you like you are worthless. And he is now succeeding in making you feel worthless because he's treating you appalling and you are still saying you love him. Step back and look at this again. Raising a child with special needs is tough, exhausting, rewarding, joyful and everything in between. It is a mixture of so many emotions. You need and deserve support. Not someone who adds to your burdens and makes you miserable. Your husband yells at you. He treats you like a maid. He takes you for granted. That exactly is he bringing to this relationship? Time to realize that you are responsible for your own happiness. You are responsible for creating a loving, secure, torturing environment for your child. It doesn't seem likely you're going to find any happiness with this person. To what's next is up to you.
Met him, divorce you. Study after study show when you divorce man babies like this, your workload decreases.
I think it's an excuse and he's found someone else. Must because you haven't had sex in 5 most. Doesn't mean he hasn't. I find it hard to believe that he has completely abstained that long, especially at his age. Mind a lawyer and a therapist. He's starting head games now.
You are lazy? Did he thought he was talking to himself? But let's be real, he sound awful. You are his maid, he does nothing except working. But you work also. If he needed to do everything you do, he would go crazy. Stop being his maid, he wants to end it. And he has checked out long ago. He just used you, he wasn't a partner. Partner or one the same level, but he looked down on you, has no respect for you or what you do. He thinks your time has no worth but his time. Why are you sad that he wants a divorce? You should throw a party. Or that did you get out of this relationship? Did you really wanted to live the rest of your life like this? And your child grow up and think this kind of relationship is normal and end in the same kind of relationship. Met a lawyer and file for a divorce yourself. You sound like such a great woman and everything else but lazy. If he end up in his own place, he will see you wonderful you were and what you did, then you can laugh at him when he tries to crawl back. Because you don't need him. You will get child support and maybe some alimony anyway. Do I deal with him? And such a superwoman like you will find a better man who respect her and carry her on his hands with no problems. Don't forget, you are so young, you have 50 plus before you. Don't waste them with someone who treats you like shit, like a slave. Maybe also get therapy. I think all this really hurt you and it will be good to have someone to openly talk to without judgment and who can guide you. I wish you the best heart.
Tell him you're going away to figure out how you feel about divorce. When leave him a sheet of info on what he needs to do every day when leave for about a week. When he can see how fucking hard it is that a child of a man. I think he just wants to check out of the relationship but doesn't want it to be his fault for being a lazy misogynistic boss, so he is pulling cap out his or to make it seem like your fault instead. After your week away, tell him you decided you do want a divorce because he is lazy and you can do much better.
It's not you, it's him.
He's cheating and looking for a way out. Let him go.
And he actually explain why he thinks you're lazy? Because it sounds like you're really not and are actually doing the majority of the labor in your household, relationship as well as in raising your child. Mo, your husband doesn't actually believe you're lazy. He just wants a reason to end the marriage because he's not into it anymore. Which I can understand considering you had a child and married so young. He's just a coward and can't admit that's the reason and wants to make it your fault instead. Let him leave and give yourself a break.
Your husband is the lazy one and projecting onto you. I think he might have someone else. He prepared.
I just read an article about what a woman did all day while her husband complained she didn't do anything all day long. They spent the entire next day testing him photo of what she did every time she did something. They took a photo of her doing the dishes, wiping down the counters, vacuuming the floors, cooking dinner, taking care of the baby, etc. He got the hint, or since he pointed out that homeschooling your child is your job, even though it should be his job as well, then tell him you guess that means you work 2 jobs, 3 if you count being a cook, housekeeper. When tell him he works 1 job and then plays video games so he can STFU. Seriously? His assist can't even make his son lunch?
Oh, you can change. Divorce him, and you'll find your workload decreases practically.
You and your child deserve much better than a husband who treats you with no respect and like a maid eta. My dad was like this to my mom and I absolutely resent him for it.
Did he say he wants a divorce, title, or that he wants you to change before it comes to divorce? If he wants to divorce, the only real advice is get a lawyer. Divorce can be financially devastating. If he's saying you're headed there and you've heard what's bothering him and your answer is that you can't change but you need him to, you guns need marriage counseling sap. Occasionally I see a post where the update is, I showed this to my partner and now she gets it. But it's rare. Mostly, getting to back you up won't change his feelings.
Where's the thing? He knows you are doing most of the housework and childcare.
He knows he works and barely pays attention to your child until you get home.
To get you to not question him and what little responsibilities he has, he questions yours. He tells you that what you do isn't good enough for him. You'll constantly be running in circles to please him but will never get to the point where you feel that it is enough because he will tell you it isn't. He's not doing this because you actually aren't putting in effort. He's doing it so he doesn't have to put any in. He is manipulating you to try to please him so he doesn't have to be a decent person and put effort in. It's a manipulation tactic. If he's playing these mind games, I doubt he will change. Now miserable are you? Because it sounds like diverting and doing things on your own would be easier than having dead weight as a husband.
I hope you've been saving your money because you might need it for a divorce lawyer. Your husband needs to be pulling his weight at home. Why isn't he deep cleaning and pressing his food before he goes to work? He has more daytime hours at home than you do. It sounds like you're doing plenty. Talk to your family, talk to a therapist. I hope he comes clean about what caused this change, misogynist friends? A crush that has gotten out of hand? Take sure your ducks are in a row for when the next shoe drops.
Why are you living like this? You need to put your son in school. You're not qualified to teach him. Mind a job with school hours or 9 to 5. Your marriage may not work out, and you need to plan how to move forward. Homeschooling is not a plan when you're in a precarious position.
If both of you work, then both of you should equally pay the bills and equally share the chores. I'd start there. If that doesn't work, you could try marriage counseling.
Did at 17 and homeschooling. And having Marshall problems. Almost a bingo.
If you're working an hour a day more than him, why is he paying for everything and what happens to your wage apart from paying the phone and wife?
I think he's cheating. 5 months no sex, shutting you out, blaming you. He's in another relationship and trying to make you the bad guy, finding any little issue that he can use. Meta divorce, he's more work than he's worth.
Hold on, he's just giving your kid cereal in the morning, doesn't clean up or get him lunch, doesn't deal with homeschooling or homework, doesn't prepare his own food to take to work, I mean, for me I just put some leftovers in a Tupperware box, takes 2 minutes, or 1 if the lid is easy to find. You work 7 hours a day outside the house. I'd say you're doing far more than him. The only thing is he's paying for stuff, and we don't see what you're doing with your money, but you're basically working all day except for a bit of downtime in the evening, and I suppose the walk or park is at least a pleasant moment with your kid. I mean, I'd say he's the one not pulling his weight, not doing anything. You're pretty well booked solid all day. Not sure what there is to love here, and I'm not sure why he would hate someone who does everything for him apart from misogyny.
I think out of all this, you can give up or reduce on the need to deep clean the whole house every day. You can also give up or reduce the need to representative your husband's food, at least on a daily basis. Definitely give it a shot to meal plan for a few days at a time, or even the whole week, and give him some meal-making duties as well. Even if it means he busy ready-made food sometime because he refuses to cook, that's still a load off from you, as well as extra food for him to pack the next day.
While you try to change for him, the fuck is he doing? Is he changing for you? Why does he get to set the expectations for you?
Leading this title I was like so is this person actually lazy or is she doing everything and exhausted by it and not doing some insane city's housewife expectations for him? Of course the latter. Tucking fucking fuck.
He is seeing someone else and finding excuses to blame you so he can leave with a clear conscience. Follow up the money. Of he using family money, marshal property on someone else, make him accountable to pay that money back to you. That money should be spent in his special needs child. Check all devices too. On not confront and don't do anything for him anymore. See an attorney.